The clock on the kitchen wall ticked past midnight, its mechanical rhythm slicing through the stillness like a cruel reminder. I sat alone at the dining table, the faint smell of wax lingering from the candle I had lit for myself hours earlier. The flame had long died, and the single slice of cake I had picked up on the way home lay untouched, crumbling into sadness on a paper plate. My phone sat face down beside it, silent and blank. Not a single missed call or half-hearted text. Was 38 years old today, and my wife Claire hadn't even acknowledged it. No card. Not even a distracted happy birthday muttered between sips of coffee before she rushed out the door that morning. It wasn't the first time she had forgotten, but this year it didn't feel like forgetfulness. It felt like confirmation. Confirmation of something I had felt in the pit of my stomach for a long time, now that this marriage, this home, this life we had built together, was coming apart at the seams. The house felt cavernous and hollow, as though the walls themselves were aware of her absence. I leaned back in the wooden chair. It's creaked far too loud in the silence. Claire had been working late for months now. Her excuses were thin, her stories disjointed, and I, the fool who loved her, had let myself believe them because the alternative was too painful to admit. All day I had replayed our last conversation. Her promise to be home by 7, her half-smile, distracted as her thumb swiped endlessly on her phone. I had clung to that promise like a child clutching a threadbare blanket. But the truth had been clawing at me, whispering in my ear with growing urgency. I stood abruptly, the chair scraping against the tile as I shoved the plate aside. My reflection stared back at me from the dark window, hollow-eyed and tired, with gray invading the stubble on my chin. I didn't recognize the man who looked back, looked older than 38, weary, unseen. I grabbed my keys and left. If Claire could forget me, then maybe I could forget to come home too. The bar I found myself in was a run-down place on the edge of town, all faded neon signs and cracked leather stools. A country song wind from a dusty jukebox in the corner. Ordered a whiskey, letting its burn ground me in something real. The bartender, a leathery old man with a permanent scowl, slid me a second without asking. "Rough night," he muttered. "Rough year," I replied, my voice low. I hadn't meant to talk. As the alcohol loosened my tongue, I found myself scrolling through my phone, text after unanswered text, me checking in, me asking how her day went, me suggesting dinner, a walk, a movie, anything. Her replies were brief or absent. Now it was all there, in black and white, proof of my desperation and her indifference. I opened a photo from last summer, Claire at a barbecue, sunlight catching in. Her blonde hair, laughter frozen in time. Her eyes had sparkled in a way they hadn't for a long time. I'd taken that picture, foolishly believing we were happy. But now in hindsight I saw it clearly. The subtle pull away when I touched her. The phone calls taken in another room, the sharp, unfamiliar perfume that lingered on her clothes. I almost called her, almost demanded answers. But what would she say? Another tired lie? Another vague excuse? My finger hesitated, then changed course. I opened our shared email account. I still managed the bills, the subscriptions, all the background noise of a shared life. That's when I saw it. A hotel booking confirmation from 2 weeks ago. In our city, a king suite under her name. On the same day, she'd said she had a work trip. The whiskey turned bitter in my throat. I tossed money on the bar and walked out, the city's neon haze blurring around me. I didn't think. I just drove. The hotel address etched itself into my mind like a curse. It was sleek and modern, all glass and quiet opulence. The kind of place meant to hide secrets, not reveal them. The lobby was all marble and silence. I approached the front desk. "Claire Evans," I said. "She stayed here 2 weeks ago. I need to know if she was alone." The clerk, a young woman with professional detachment etched into her smile, shook her head. "I'm sorry, sir. We can't disclose guest information." Leaned closer, desperation creeping into my voice. "Please, it's important." She hesitated. Something flickered in her eyes. Maybe she saw something familiar in Metha. Quiet devastation of a man seeking truth. "All I can tell you," she said softly, is that the reservation was for two.
To the
Word felt like a slap. I nodded, muttered a thank you, and stumbled back to my car. The drive home was a blur. I don't remember the turns, only the weight in my chest. When I got back, the house was still empty. Her car wasn't in the driveway. I went straight to her office, the room where she worked on her remote days. Her laptop was locked, but I knew her routines. In the drawer, I found her notebook, the one she used for scribbles and lists. I flipped through it until I saw it, a phone number scrawled next to a name Mark. Mark, her coworker. The one she'd mentioned so casually, with a smile too practiced. Dialed the number before I could stop myself. Hello? Is this Mark? Who's this? Claire's husband. You know, the guy she's married to? Silence. Then a sigh. Look, man, don't. Just don't. I know about the hotel. I know about you. Another pause, then a voice filled with reluctant honesty. It just happened. She said you two were having problems. I hung up. Oh, I didn't need to hear more. When Claire came home around 2 a.m., she looked startled to see me sitting at the kitchen table. Her notebook and the printed hotel emails spread out before me. Her face drained of color. Tom, why are you up? You forgot my birthday, I said flatly. Her lips parted, a weak apology forming, but I cut her off. I called Mark. The color fled her face completely. Her purse slipped from her shoulder and hit the floor. Tom, please, let me explain. Explain what? How you been lying to me? Sneaking around behind my back? Booking hotel rooms with someone else while I waited at home like an idiot? Tears filled her eyes, but I felt nothing. Not sympathy. Not anger. Just emptiness. I trusted you, I said, my voice breaking. I gave you everything, and you threw it away. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I was here. I was trying. You were the one who left, long before you actually walked out the door, she sobbed. But I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. Not this time. I grabbed my coat and walked out. The night air hit me like a slap, cold and sharp. I didn't know where I was going, only that I couldn't stay there anymore. I drove until the horizon began to glow with the first hint of dawn. At a rest stop, I parked and leaned back in the seat, the engine ticking softly. In the glove box, I found an old photo from our wedding day. We were so young, so sure. I stared at it for a long time, then let it fall to the floor. Some things can't be fixed. Some wounds never heal. As the sun rose, I made a choice. I wasn't going back. Not to that house, not to her. Not to the shell of a life we'd pretended to share. Claire had forgotten me too many times, and now I was finally done remembering.